You're live. Another Carvers Creators. Yes, let's do it. Hello and welcome to season 2, episode 6 of Carvers and Creators, our 75th episode, if you can believe it. A weekly demonstration and discussion with pumpkin carvers, sculptors, and multi-talented artists. We ask that you please give us a like and a follow on the platform you're watching us on, and please let us know in the comments where you're watching from, and if you have any questions for the carvers and our special guests. I'm going to forsake my deck because this is what technical problems we have at the beginning. Don't have it up, but I will definitely have it up in just a second. But let's meet the carvers. First, he's an artist and sculptor from Boston, Massachusetts. He's the 2019 champion of Food Network's Outrageous Pumpkins. Paul Dever, welcome.
Oh, me.
Oh, hey.
Happy Thursday, everybody. Good to be here.
Welcome, Paul. Good to see you, brother.
Good to be seen, Matt. Thank you.
Next, he's a multimedia sculpture artist from Tucson, Arizona, and a finalist on Halloween Wars 2019 on Food Network, Matt Harper.
Happy Thursday. Hello, everyone.
Maddie.
Happy Thursday to you as well. Our guest tonight is an artist, sculptor, painter, art doll maker, and monster enthusiast from Phoenix, Arizona. Please welcome the very talented Carla Yates. Yes.
Carla, welcome.
Oh my God, thank you.
Did I say it right?
You said it right. Thank you. Yes.
Good job, man. Welcome.
Hi, Carla.
Hi. Hi. Is this right?
Yeah. My name is Michael Mondragon. I'll be running the show, moderating comments, and chiming in from time to time. Now, this is where you all vamp while I pull up the deck.
Oh, we can do that.
Oh, we can
do
vamp.
that.
We can vamp all the time. And we're coming up on Super Bowl Sunday, too. So, I mean, Carla, you're a big sports fan in
No.
Arizona.
Not a sports fan.
But everybody gets Super Bowl squares, right? Even if you're not a sports fan.
I mean,
Everybody's a gambler.
No.
You didn't get squares either, Matt?
we go to a Super Bowl party every year, and I make the squares. And
Oh.
the best part of it all is last couple of years, my kids, because we put their names down on the squares, right, have walked away with like hundreds of dollars. I'm like, what the hell is this crap? So
Do they know? Do you actually give them the money? Wow.
Sadly, yes, but they don't even know the game's even on. They're just like goofing around the whole time, like, "Oh, I won! Oh, where's my money?" So.
I always get the worst numbers. It does no matter what, because they don't. You just fill out the box and then they pick the numbers. I get like numbers that don't come up in football.
Yeah,
like, well, there was my donation to the cause, I guess.
yeah, 2.5, and
yeah. I didn't even know blue was a number, but I got blue and 7. That's
well, 7's good.
Seven's good. Seven's really good.
So,
until I get it, and then it's not.
yeah, then it's a 0 or a 3, or
Yeah.
Oh,
What's the temperature there today, guys, in Arizona? Oh, who's that?
what the hell? So it's like 76 or 77, something like that.
Oh, we had the 50s today.
That's weird. I had to air on in our house.
Really?
You had
Was it
AC
in
on today?
Boston? Yeah.
It was in the 50s today. It was really nice. I mean, I just have a light sweatshirt on, and we're gonna get close to 60 on Saturday.
That's
Oh, Lord.
awesome.
Global warming is fake, guys.
Thank you.
It's gonna
Paul,
be 60 on Saturday. Yes, sir.
I must pause and say, holy shit, this is an awesome sculpt, Paul. I love it.
Thank you. Better than the week before.
The redemption sculpt. Yes.
Yeah, I needed one. Thank you. Yeah, that was a really big butternut squash that was solid all the way through, like that whole mouth. I didn't have tools deep enough again. Like, when you get in there, it's so deep that you can't do anything.
Nice.
So yeah, that was all just carved in like that.
That's the best.
I was gonna put a little hat on them and stuff and like really doll them up, but just ran out of produce. But yeah, that was
so
a
the
redemption.
carving subject was euphoric primate. So nailed it.
Euphoric.
I mean, and it has that signature kind of Dever kind of like mouth that has a lot
eyes.
of and
Awesome.
eyes for sure.
I didn't realize I had those things, but thank you, gentlemen.
Exactly, Paul. Come on. At this point.
So good. So
Thanks.
good.
I like, it's pretty cool. You could find fault in anything, but it's better than last week's. That's my punchline for phrase for that one. Much better.
So Matt, I'm gonna give you the floor.
All right. So mine wasn't a redemption piece. I had a piece of one
The expression's nuts.
Okay, so I was trying to do an orangutan, and they had black eyes. So that's the part I struggled with the most, was the eyes, because no matter what I did, the eyes didn't look like black, like dark, right? So I dug them out, and I just put the highlights in there, thinking that would do it, and it was the wrong move. But what I also did, that it was the big problem, was I started this on Thursday last week, and then I finished it like late Tuesday night. So this little buddy sat in the fridge for that amount of time, and when he started to carve it again, I'm like, wait a minute, this isn't the same piece of produce. So I struggled a lot, but you know what? The show must go on, and I guess kids, if you're carving these things, you know, when it's a piece of produce and it's starting to, the clock is ticking the minute you start peeling away at it. Okay. So get it done within a couple of days and you're fine. Don't wait 5 like I did. Or you run into all kinds of other technical issues, but that's my, euphoric baby orangutan yes right there. But I'm getting my redemption this week, right, Carla?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
You're going to hit it out of the park.
Thank
Oh,
you.
I think you're being a little hard on
I mean,
yourself.
this one makes me super happy. This orangutan.
Yeah,
So I
the
don't,
expression's dynamite. And like you went, I mean, you could have gone in different directions with the eyes, but you went for it. You went for the higher level of difficulty. It's just you let it sit.
I know.
And didn't you break into you broke into the center cavity, right?
Yeah. So on the show last week, I actually busted in. So on any one of these things, like you have there's a center cavity, like in a pumpkin, like this is all solid, but when you break into like in the middle, and then you let it sit in the fridge for a week in water, it starts to degrade. And so when I started carving it again, it was collapsing on itself, and you can't really see that way there, but everything you had to do, instead of scraping away at it, I had to do it with a knife.
Yikes.
So it just became like anyway, so I was yelling at it, and
you can tell. Look how afraid he is of you.
That's why. But yeah. But you know what? I'll chalk this up as a learning moment. And anyway, so I need a redemption piece this week. So let's, Mickey, if you don't mind, I'm gonna start crying if I look at that.
I wanted to give you your time with this, and
Thank you.
like a good therapy session. We worked it all out.
Thank you, doctor.
And it's not as bad as you're making it out to be.
I don't think it's bad.
I don't think it's bad at all. Yeah.
All right.
The one thing that I didn't know beforehand, which was that the fact that you used the knife to have to do that, which is that's a completely different method too from what we're used to. So I know you don't want to keep it up there, but after the show, then you can tell me where you use the knife, because it's pretty smooth for a knife, because I know it gets soft.
Yeah,
like you're saying, once the material gets spongy, you can't, because it'll just rip. It won't carve. You need the firm surface. So well done, sir.
Thank you,
all
doctor. Right. Thank you both. Thank you all. Thank you. I feel better.
So this is my redemption piece from last week when life got in the way for me. So I started thinking, I love the band name Euphoric Primate. I think that's like an amazing band name.
Look at that.
That's awesome.
Because he's got full service and a full battery.
Well, that's why this primate is euphoric, because if you had 4 bars and a full battery in the jungle, you would be euphoric as well.
Well done.
Great, Mickey. Holy crap.
That's a great T-shirt right there.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. T-shirt design.
That might be the name of a new band that we're forming eventually.
There you go.
And he's got the newest iPhone, which is awesome too.
That's funny that you noticed that. I don't, so I thought it was like a Samsung or something. My phone is an old primate at this point. Primitive.
It's not euphoric, yeah.
No,
it's
awesome.
It's the latest phone, but it doesn't have the latest software. So yeah. So I'm just kidding. Carla, I'd like to introduce you to the 4th member of Carvers and Creators, responsible for choosing our carving subject tonight. It is the hollow wheel, the sinner spinner, and as always, Paul will explain now.
Hello. Welcome back.
Paul, there you are.
Oh, hey, how's it going? Hey, kids. All right, the wheel. For those of you that know it, sorry, I'm going to repeat myself over and over. For those of you that are just joining us, welcome. And this is the wheel. This is how we're going to choose our carving tonight. There's no prep on the show. Sometimes, Matt, I bet you can agree, you wish there was a little prep. So we had some time to plan. But we're going to spin this wheel. That's going to tell us what we're going to carve. So that'll be the inner spin. That's the first one. So for the first spin, we have puppet, Karen, plump, nerdy, psychopathic, parasite, guest choice, amphibian, primate, and villain. If it lands on primate, we'll do a respin tonight. Second spin will be the emotion. So what's the face going to look like? It's going to be doing something, or it's just static and boring, right? So it's going to be sulking, sad, too similar, bored, irritated, elated, grizzled, stoned, euphoric, confused, or repulsive. That's some stuff to think about. There's a lot of combinations there. So when it lands on euphoric primate again, we'll know that the wheel is completely fixed. Or completely broken, actually, because I can't handle it again. So here we go. Let's do a spin. Guest choice.
Oh my god!
Ooh,
Look at that.
Start thinking, Kyle.
Can I pick one that's on the wheel?
Sure.
Parasite.
If you don't, I was gonna say, don't pick primate. Matt'll kill you.
No. Parasite sounds interesting.
Okay, so parasite.
Okay.
It does sound interesting. It sounds actually impossible. Come on, drunk parasite. Let's go. What do we got? A sad parasite.
A sad parasite. Oh, your host died.
This is
Mike,
great.
My connection's breaking up. I'll see you guys next week when I figure out how to do this.
I'm
had a
just
good
like
time.
army looking squashes or whatever the gourds.
Yeah, it does play into, I guess, the choices that I have for things to carve. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. You can
Oh,
put a
wow.
sticker on
Sad
Put on my
parasite.
light. That would help. There you go. Then I can see. Yeah, I guess that's gonna go this way, I guess, huh? I don't know.
Ooh, okay.
How do you carve a parasite?
Sorry, Paul.
But he's sad. Don't worry. The parasite's sad. That's
It's
I
on
appreciate
the wheel,
it.
so I mean, don't hate on
You know,
me.
that's the best part of this, doing the wheel, right? Because not only do you not know what you're going to get, it's every single time it's a shock. You're like, God bless it.
yeah.
And then,
But
then it
sad.
wears off and you figure something out. But, you know, my God, a sad parasite.
This is
Yeah,
parasite. Oh.
Like when I
Okay.
think of, hi Ma, when I think of parasite in terms of like my line of thinking, you know, I can do that, right? So it's got to be just sort of like, I almost think of an alien as being a parasite because it's foreign, right? Something like that. But I'm not saying I'm going to do an alien, but that's where my mind goes. It's the sad that's kind of giving me the willies of whatever it is has to be. And most parasites pumped. I mean,
Well,
unless it's like they're going up against like a vaccine or something. Like then they'd be sad.
Well, maybe
Let
they're
me-
sad that they have to suck the essence from something else that they can't.
Right.
just-
They live off something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I
Wouldn't
would
that make
be
you
pumped
sad if you
to
lived
be a
off of something
parasite.
else?
Like a sad parasite has no host. Maybe that's what it is. He's got no host.
Ah, there you go.
Oh,
Lonely
Okay, that's-
parasite.
or maybe the host is sad.
But the parasite has to be sad.
Mm.
Well, we're going down the rabbit hole on this
Okay.
one. I like it. This is gonna be this is tough. Yowza. Any parasite is sad. Yeah, at the
I
end.
already think I've come up with mine for next week. What I'm going to do.
You already know?
You
I
already know it?
already have the concept in my mind of what I'm going to do.
Oh, I love it. All right, make
Did you
like
did
a
you
yard-
watch this show before to see me spin the wheel somehow? Like, did you go into the
No, I did not.
man?
Okay. All right.
All right, so I'm going
that's
to keep
one.
this up.
Okay.
But if you're carving with us, if you're creating with us, we're going to give you 5 minutes to gather your tools, gather all your materials while we go around and see what our carving oil is for tonight. Carla, did you have anything that you're going to be drinking or consuming during our creating tonight?
Yeah, this is one of my favorite beverages. It's actually a hard kombucha.
Ooh.
I basically only drink kombucha or cider. So
Okay.
That's a cool can. I like the
That
color.
is a really cool can. That's the first
Great.
kombucha we've had on the show ever.
I don't even know what it is. I gotta be honest.
Kombucha? Come on.
I think I've heard of it. Well, it's not a. Is it one of these?
That's
It
a
is
kombucha.
not. You know, it's made from
Not a
green tea.
kombucha.
It's like kombucha is made from green tea.
Oh.
And then it's like yeast is added and flavors. But
So
I
it's
just
good
love these
for
because
you.
they're like super pure and clean. There's just like ginger, hibiscus, grapefruit, and kombucha in it. And
Nice.
And they have alcohol in it, Paul. So
yeah,
It has
It's
alcohol in it,
10%,
and it's
so
good
it's
for
a
you.
Decent little.
Yeah.
I'll be right back. I gotta go to the store.
Matt, what do you got?
okay, so I found this thing. It's called Valley Beer. It's from
I like that too.
Wrenhouse Brewing in Phoenix and Prescott. Apparently, there's two of them, which is Arizona beer. And it's a American lager. So I won't make a face when I drink it thinking it's a triple IPA like you guys like. So this is just like I'm assuming it's tame, but the nice part about this one is it's a 16-ounce, can. So I got a beer and a half to drink.
Yeah.
I've actually been to Wrenhouse Brewing in Phoenix.
Oh wow.
And I also had that beer specifically when I went to Pizzeria Bianco, not the one down by Chase Field, but the one that's actually by Town and Country, or Town and Country. Yeah. So I've had that beer. So there you go. So I'm a beer snob, Carla. If you haven't figured that out by watching our shows.
He's a snob in every
every sense of the word, of course. Yes.
Yeah, beers never agreed with me. I tried it, and it's just one of those things that doesn't agree with my taste buds.
I'm exactly the opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the beginning and the middle part are great. It's the end part that's the problem.
Yeah.
My beer tonight is actually a fun one, so I'm actually going to sell myself so I can actually get this in. It's actually from a really artistic brewery here in LA. This is Communist Poodles from Connecticut.
Holy moly! That's
an American.
Stout?
It's an American stout. Yeah. So,
nice can.
Oh my god, it's so
good.
Dude, that's
creepy poodles.
Lord,
those are Connecticut poodles right there.
How does somebody think of those things together? That's awesome.
There's this brewery. Their newest beer is Catfished on Craigslist.
Nice.
It's an IPA. It's so good.
That's cool.
So cheers to everybody.
Wow.
Cheers.
Wait,
Mick.
Paul.
Cheers.
What are you drinking, Paul?
Oh my
Well,
god.
I'm drinking a whole lot of what the hell just happened? You know what I mean?
Rejection and
Yeah. Who cares about me?
Go for it, man. Go for it, man.
Yeah, it might be a little too late for me.
Oh,
I got Irish Alzheimer's, Mickey. You slighted me.
I know it.
No, I have Millstream from Amana, Iowa, and I can't even pronounce.
Wow.
It's a Schlidbrau Amber, Vienna style lager.
Watch your language.
Courtesy of me ma and me aunt. They signed me up for Bear Club, and the bottle is blurry. Well, I'll just say that the bottle.
Yeah,
that's all right.
Wait, what kind of?
It's in a cool bottle. I like the weep. It's like an old Coors bottle.
Oh, it's an amber though. You said.
What beer club did they get you into?
The Beer of the Month Club. Is there another?
Yeah, I was just
club,
wondering if you just knew the name.
Oh, I don't recall the name, but I get two pretty cool beers. Three beers a month, like a good little sampler.
Oh, that's super cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. So I'm giving this one a
cheers,
shot.
everybody. Now we can officially
Now we
cheers.
can properly do it. My bad.
Chink, 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 clink.
Chink.
Okay.
Chink.
Wait, hang on, Carla. Let's see your mug. That thing's awesome. Let's see what that is. Museum of the Weird. Ooh, Austin, Texas. Beautiful. All right.
Oh man, I didn't go there.
One of the best little places in Austin, Texas.
Is it really?
Small business, awesome museum, cool oddities, and maybe a couple of my sculptures are in there.
Oh,
Ooh, for anybody from Austin.
The owners are great and super cool, and it's a good thing to support. If you're in Austin, go check it out.
okay. Museum of the Weird. So put that on your calendars, people. Get to Museum of the Weird.
Yeah.
Go see Carla's sculptures for no other reason.
Speaking of Carla's creations. So Matt,
That
this
is
was a
so
favorite
cool.
of yours. So
Oh my God, yes.
so yeah, go ahead, Matt. Ask all your questions now.
I'm gonna gush for a second because when I saw this, so behind me I have a big Balrog, and we'll talk about that later. But my goal in life is to have a wall of mounted heads, like that are just like, you know, from another planet or from movies or something really cool. And this one to me, like the minute I saw it, I'm like, oh, I want that. And now I know Carla she makes one-off, you know, specific sculptures that she doesn't reproduce. So this one, when I knew that it was just a one-off, makes me cry because she doesn't make this again. But this one is a huge favorite of mine. I'm a huge fan of this one, and just love it from the minute I saw it.
Thank you.
It is.
Yeah, that was a commission piece. You know, it's funny. This person that commissioned this, I had made a Shrunken Harry, you know, the little headhunter from Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
I made a sculpture of that a couple years ago, and he purchased that. And he's become like my Beetlejuice guy. So I made this for him, and we're talking about some future projects and Beetlejuice sculptures. So,
oh wow,
yeah,
Matt,
this
I don't know.
Very popular. I had a lot of people asking to buy it, but yeah, I just do the one-off polymer clay sculptures and move on to the next.
I mean, Matt, if you're looking for a new title, you could be Carla's new Beetlejuice guy if you really wanted to like bump the other guy out and like commissioner. You could, I mean, on top of being like, you know, Halloween Wars alum, world-renowned pumpkin carver, you could also be the Beetlejuice guy. There's a lot of characters from that show. I'm just saying.
I know there's a million. There's a million, and we even talked. We did a little pre-show yesterday, and I think Carla's coming to do my whole banister with the snake later. But that's later. But no, yeah, I'm just the detail and this looks like, you know, something pulled right from Tim Burton. Just an awesome sculpt.
It's perfect.
Thank
It's perfect sandworm.
Everything about it.
Can I ask a question? Did you do the outer and the inner worm separate?
Right.
You had to, right?
Yeah, definitely. And I shared some like progress shots of this piece. So the larger worm, and then that little the smaller worm on the inside was cool. About this big. And then I connected them with like not a dowel, but a thick wire.
The aluminum armature wire? And
like epoxy them together. Because all that's painted on the inside of the other worm. So
wow.
And the tongue too. So it was like a three-part sculpture.
That's the tongue too, yeah. Is that the teeth on there, even the spirals on the teeth are just so. Anyway, you nailed this one. It's so good.
Super fun, thank you.
So do you work with an epoxy clay, or do you use like Super Sculpey?
I actually use I use polymer clay, but for years I used Primo, which is a Sculpey product. Yep. And for the past about 8 months or so, I've been exclusively using Cos clay.
Oh, yeah, because it's got give to it, right? I have a bunch of it here. I'm just so lazy. I don't know. Yeah, it's a flexible polymer clay. So the clay I used before had a flex to it too, but you know, it just takes, because I do a lot of art dolls with little thin fingers, so I just wanted to test out the Cos clay, and it's been great. I really like it. So. Do you bake it, or do you hit it with a heat gun just to get the outside? Oh no, I bake it. Do you really? I do a very consistent bake cycle, and a lot of experiments over the years. So I kind of nailed my baking process after about a year and a half. And that's so crazy too, especially when you have stuff of different sizes like this piece here. Yeah, like, you got to have a good formula down. Is there a lot of shrinkage in like Cos clay and stuff? No. Like how Sculpey sometimes, if I have something that has a lot of detail on it, will crack. That's why I never liked Super Sculpey. That's why I never liked Super Sculpey, because it was just a little more brittle and it did shrink. So if I ever had a break, it was when I used that in like the first year I was using polymer clay. And then I actually found this out through either an article or a podcast. Virginie Ropars used Primo. She used this special mix of Primo. So I tried that and had great success with that and never had a break. And then obviously with the Cos clay, not had a break. So that's what I always recommend to people. I know a lot of people are partial to Super Sculpey because like that was the first polymer clay that was introduced to me.
through like the special effects world. It's like a lot of people use Super Sculpey to do little models and maquettes. But yeah, it's just shattered so many times for me. And maybe that was just my error in the baking process, but
temperamental, like a temperamental medium kind of.
it is temperamental, but I don't really see. And the cool thing with the Cos clay is it doesn't sag. You know, like Super Sculpey, a lot of times when you put it in the oven, it'll start to, before it sets, it'll start to sag a little bit.
Yeah.
This doesn't do that at all. So,
Really?
Yeah. You could just have something hanging off like this, and it's put it in the oven. As soon as it starts to heat up, it just stays.
That's
Oh,
so
wow.
crazy.
Yeah. So
I've gotten into that habit of just hitting through a friend of mine who does a lot of stuff with Super Sculpey. That was his thing. He's like, if you put it in the oven, it's going to get ruined because there's too much shrinkage. He's like, just ride the surface for 5-10 minutes with the heat gun, let it cool down. Now, the core won't be obviously solid, but
right.
usually the core is another material anyway, whether it's tin foil or you built it up with an armature.
Yeah. Well, I think it just depends on your goal or what you're doing with the sculptures. Like, I'm making my pieces to be like last a lifetime and be like museum quality pieces. So maybe if you're molding the piece or you're doing something else with it, you know, hit it with the heat gun. You know, I know Tom Kugler uses Super Sculpey to sculpt, and then he molds his pieces.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's cool. Okay.
But for me, it's like this is my sculpture forever, and I want somebody to keep it forever. So I do a lot of very intentional, like understructure work and armature work, and I usually do 2 to 3 sessions in the oven with my pieces.
Wow.
Like I build them in sessions. So.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Maybe. Oh, so that's what I'm doing wrong. Everything. Doing one session in the oven and then saying in 6 months when it breaks, come back. I'll get you another one.
Make another one. Yeah, but looking at this, it's clearly not just the clay. It's kind of the whole element. And I think when you look at when Mickey is going to show a lot of stuff that you've made, but I think this is another piece to me that it just kind of elevates you, because not only are you sculpting it, you're painting it, which is like that's 2 things that some people only do one. And then you're doing the armature and the full on outfits and a lot of hair, a lot of everything. So did you like set out? You said, I'm going to be a workshop of one. I'm going to do this all myself, or was it? Yeah. Did you ever think about farming some of this stuff out?
No. I mean, I've just always wanted to do it myself, and you know, for me, I approach each piece. You know, honestly, each piece is so different and so new, and I never repeat things. So, in all honesty, every single piece is like an experiment for me, and I just kind of experimented and kind of learned how to sew, learned how to make patterns, learned how to paint my pieces. And you know, it's like the first 2 years, I don't know how many times I would like wash things off in the sink and like scrub it off, because I just kept layering and didn't really know what I was doing. But
wow.
Now for me, I mean, I'm looking at like my kind of place in my niche. From what I'm finding, what I want to do with my art is I'm making one-of-a-kind art pieces.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm kind of mixing my love for special effects and, you know, monster movies with art doll making. And, you know, as far as like the doll artistry goes, like with making the outfits and everything and doing the hair work, there's not a lot. When I started doing it a few years back, honestly, I only knew a couple people through Instagram. And so I would just kind of see what they did to try to learn how to make art dolls. And it was just something that appealed to me. And just intuitionally, that's just kind of the direction that I went with it and just kind of experimented with. And people really seem to favor my art dolls over, say, like other things that I make.
Well, you have a tremendous following, and like we're like so stoked to have you on, because one of the things that I think is just amazing too is, you know, when you're doing everything from scratch and you've decided to do one-off art pieces that are you know, it kind of creates more demand, I imagine, right? So you get instead of creating. So when was it in your mind as you, and by the way, you haven't been doing this very long, right? I mean, only
5 years.
5 years. I mean,
Wow.
okay, take that, people. All right. You remember, this is, if you start now, 5 years from now, you can be close to Carla, but not even remotely. But anyway, but my point is like, so do you get a lot of people asking you for, because I know when I saw that Beetlejuice snake, I was like, I want that, but it's a one and done, and you won't do it, you won't duplicate it. So do you get a lot of people asking you, can you cast that? I want to buy a copy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I've had a lot of people ask for casts or ask if I'll make a repeat, and a lot of artists do that. So I don't blame people, or I'm not annoyed when people ask me that, because I know a lot of sculptors do that, even that work in polymer clay. But for me, it's just I think I put so much into the one piece, and for me, these things, it's like, I'm not necessarily doing it to make money off of these things. I'm doing it because I enjoy it, and I make enough money to get by. But for me, I don't think I would have the time or the energy to really make another one. And as far as like casting goes, for me, it's just more special to put everything into the one sculpture. And I kind of look at them. Oh God, I'm rambling. I kind of look at them, and this is going to sound cheesy, but I look at each thing that I make as its own individual, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like we're all individual people, and for my creatures, I know that I'm doing homage art. I didn't come up with the idea per se, but I feel like they have some life to them, and they're just only meant to be one. So that sounds so funny, but
right.
Well, it's you're very lucky, okay, to be talking to a couple of guys that's literally the only thing we can do is make one.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you understand.
Yeah, but I'm trying to find a way, Carla. I want a way to make them reproducible. Because sometimes, like you were saying, each one is individual, and sometimes you'll do one, you're like, I really love this one, and it's already spoken for, but there's a little part of you that wishes that you could hold on to it, right?
Yeah.
Like mine, whenever mine's finished, if I find one that I'm really, really proud of, and you take those pictures, because that's really all we get to do is take some photos of it.
Right.
And then there's that uncomfortable sound of it hitting the barrel after I've just changed it. And the kaboom on the bottom, because it's like, what am I going to do with it? There's not much left to do. I wish there was a way I could keep them. So it's, I know what you're saying. Each one is completely individual. Plus, your hands don't work the same way, right? It's like your brain is the conduit for your hand. So I could try and do the same one 5 times, and 5 times it's going to come out a little bit different, because my brain just saw something a little different, on my hand had a different texture to what I was doing, if I'm cross hatching something, or
you were in a different mood, or
totally.
They say that when you're producing things, especially like one of a kind things like that, and like I know painters talk a lot about this, you're kind of just a conduit for what wants to be created.
100%.
So, especially with what you guys are doing, which something that is so organic, and it's so not disposable. Disposable is not the right word.
Ephemeral. Short-lived.
Short-lived. I mean, it's such a meditative exercise that you can't reproduce that.
Yeah, but I think one of the things that Paul and I have realized over the years is that we love the process so much that we're okay with saying goodbye to it after we take a couple good pictures. So the process of hanging out with you, hanging out with great artists, and kind of working through this in your mind and having fun is super awesome. But when it comes to like actually creating and like just headphones on, doing your own thing, if you don't love the process, then why you're doing it? Because it's and I think that's got to be the same way when you're doing one of a kind things, because getting to the end of it, you're almost sad to say goodbye to it at some point, right?
Yeah, I spend if I finish it too early, I I'll tell my client, be like, I'm going to keep this for another week to just hang out with it before I mail it to you.
So true. Yeah, yeah, Matt, you just nailed it, right? The process. We've talked about this especially with like Ray and Mark and a couple other guys of like, and Carla, you said it too. It's almost therapeutic, right?
Yeah.
You just get lost in this moment, and every now and again I may check the clock because if I'm doing it around, if I know dinner time's coming up, or I know I gotta be somewhere at a certain time, that's the only time I check the clock. If it's a Saturday and my schedule's open, and I don't listen to music when I do it, so I'm listening to the scraping and the sounds of me muttering the F word to myself over and over.
Yeah,
that's all I have to keep me company. Damn it, I did it again. But I can't put anything back, so it's like, uh-oh, now what? Like, now I have to adjust this side if I've taken too much material.
Yeah.
And like, you know, for bone structure or something, or even teeth, like if you see something kicked, if you use the tool too much, you're like, wow. And that's when I'll look at the clock and be like, wow, this 3 hours of my life I can't get back. And now I have to find a way out of this complete mess I made. But the journey, you intimately know each one of your pieces, right? So it's always yours. But that's where those pictures come in for us. Like, eventually I want to put together a coffee table book when I have enough cards, just to be able and start it in chronological order, like the first couple of years of carving, so I can go and then as it gets better, like, oh, all right, that's not so bad, it's getting a little bit better, and then kind of you can see the journey through.
Yeah. But even Carla's stuff, like when you think about like if they're one-offs and they go away, you don't see them ever again other than a picture. So it's not like you can't keep. There are a lot very similar to what we're doing. I mean, they're like they really are ephemeral because they go away. They're going to a client. So I think it's very similar in that, you know, because you're not casting it and you don't have 10 copies of it, you can't review it again other than just in a picture.
Yeah,
it's almost the same thing.
It's kind of romantic because I think that's something that I struggled with when I first decided. Because my very first sculpture, I did mold it and cast it, and I was like, I hated molding it, didn't have fun casting it. I painted it once. I don't think I'd want to do it again. So after that, I was like, I'm just going to do one of a kind. But, you know, I really struggled in the beginning with letting go of that, you know, because you feel so precious about the things that you create. And I think, you know, it's like from a spiritual side, it's a really healthy thing to do, to create something that you care so much about and then put it out there in the world.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's a challenging thing to do, but I think that's something that further validates what I'm doing is the gifts that I've gotten from like that practice, I guess you could say. And I think the validation that I've gotten from how much people appreciate that, because there's not a ton of people doing one of a kind stuff out there.
No. No, you started 5 years ago. What did you do before 5 years ago? Because you're a gifted artist. Did you like do things that were artistic at all before this?
I was a hairstylist for 10 years.
That takes some talent.
That takes a lot of talent.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I was always creative, you could say. I wouldn't necessarily say like artistic. So I was a hairstylist from like the age of 22 to 32. And it was a good job, you know, like I enjoyed it as far as jobs go. Mm-hmm. You know, it gave me a lot of things like financial independence, and I enjoyed it as far as like an unconventional job, but it wasn't my passion.
Okay.
And I didn't grow up drawing, and honestly, I didn't really do art until like my early 30s.
Wow.
Were you always like a horror movie and like kind of like that kind of genre fan? Always?
Oh yeah. Ever since I was a little kid, like.
Okay.
My first memories are of horror movies when I was like 5, 6, 7 years old.
You had good parents, is what I'm hearing.
Good or bad, I don't know. They left me unsupervised a lot, so I guess in that way, yeah. But
that's awesome.
Yeah.
But
horror movies and
the
monsters.
level of detail in this, the level of
Yeah.
detail in this is, it doesn't look like someone who just like picked this up 5 years ago. I mean, your vision of this, but your execution of it is like, I don't even know how to explain it. It's like, and I said, like, I can't wait to get to more of this because, that we have artists on and that post, some post more than others, but your Instagram is full of like characters and each one of them is like better than the next. And it's like, I go, this doesn't stop. Like I said, I only probably got to like 1/100th of your Instagram. So the fact that these are one-offs is even more amazing. So, like, are you, obviously you're influenced by pop culture, monster movies and all that. So, like, again, you say you're just I won't say just a hairstylist, but I'm just like, obviously not in this world, but, like, how did it spark for you? Like, oh, I should be doing this instead of that.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's like, around, I'll say I had a very early midlife crisis around
Get it done
my
early.
early 30s, So I was a hairstylist and I just had been looking for another route for my life, another direction, another career, but I couldn't figure out what to do. And I was like, well, maybe I could go to jewelry school and, or maybe I could do this, or maybe I could do that. And, I feel like I've dabbled in a lot of things like photography and this and that over the years, but nothing ever stuck. So it was actually, I took a trip with my boyfriend at the time, who's now my husband. We took this trip to Australia and New Zealand.
Nice.
Which sounds pretty lavish, but yeah. Anyways, so we took a trip to Australia and New Zealand, and we ended up by chance touring Weta Workshop when we were in New Zealand. Do y'all know what Weta Workshop is?
That's,
We do.
Well, I'm sure Matt does, right?
I did. We got a friend coming on eventually from that workshop. So stay tuned, everyone.
Oh, wow, man, that place is amazing. But it's funny. I've always loved special effects and movies and stuff like that. But I never thought like, hey, maybe I could go to school for this. I didn't really even know that there were schools. But when we toured Weta Workshop, I was standing in the effects department, just like taking in all the cool stuff. And this feeling came over me, and I was like, I want to learn how to make this stuff.
Wow. Okay.
Like meaning sculpture, basically, or special effects, which is not what I'm doing right now. But so when we got back home from that trip, my partner, I told him, I was like, I think I want to quit my job, quit my career, and go to special effects school. And he's like, do it.
Nice.
You married the right guy. You definitely married the right guy.
Yeah, he's super awesome. And I had savings, and so we packed up together and moved to Pittsburgh, and I went to Tom Savini's school.
Oh, right on.
I did a 15-month special effects program, which is more so I learned how to make do like prosthetics and make props and do fiberglassing and all that hard work. But it was really just taking 1 or 2 beginner sculpture classes. And basically, my first sculpture class was learning to do maquettes.
Oh, yeah.
So when I sculpted a maquette, I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to sculpt miniature sculptures. So when I was ready to graduate, I just, within that time, me and him had gotten married, and I told him, I was just like, I don't want to get a job doing special effects. I thought I wanted to do effects, like makeup for horror movies, but I was like, I think I just want to pursue fine art. I think I want to try to do my own thing. And
look at you now.
So that's what I'm doing.
That's so cool.
Wow. I love that story. Because you take one trip changed your life, one visit to one place changed your life in a lot of ways. And I think that to me, I'll be the kind of the armchair quarterback, because like I took a job out of college and all this stuff, and then found art late in my life, and for you to be able to kind of be resolute, I'm like, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm just going to do it now, and that's just impressive, and also just like so gratifying, because you're doing it, you're kind of making your own way, and you're clearly good at it, and you have a great following. So anyway, I'm duly impressed. At the same time, I'm just envious. Honestly, I'll just say, because you knew what you wanted to do and you went after it, versus like, the traditional people, and I'll put myself in this category, just like, well, I got to get a job, I got to do this, I have to stay, down that path, doing the norm thing. So, kudos to you.
Oh, thank you, Matt. And to speak to that, I was always that person too. I was always very practical. I didn't, it's like, I lived alone for a long time, like through my 20s. Like I didn't have much support. So like, I was like, I have to have a job that makes money, I have to put food on my table, I have to survive, and so I was always very, very practical and traditional in that sense. Like I never had the guts to go for anything as far as that goes.
Right.
But I think I got to a point in my life where something inside of me was just honestly screaming to come out. Like,
that's awesome.
Like there was something inside of me that was just so unsatisfied with that life. And I just felt like I had to see what there was more out there. And it honestly saved my life, looking into like pursuing a more creative, I guess you could call it career. And I've always been very like achievement oriented. So I knew that when I decided to do it, I was like, all right, I'm going to do this and I'm going to make it. Like, I'm going to like work my ass off and I'm going to like obsess about it. And it's gonna work,
Yeah.
So I appreciate you saying that, but it's, and I think a lot of people
having a spouse or a partner that also sees that in you is man, that's got to be extra icing on the cake, right?
He was the biggest push for me, because like I'm always so like, oh, this is not practical, this is a big risk, and like I don't know. He's like, no, do it, take the risk, do it. So he's more kind of, always believed in me, but also is more of a risk taker, I guess, personality. So he's like, screw it, if it doesn't work, we'll do something else, or you'll figure it out, or
That's so cool.
If you need to do this for money on the side, you'll do that. But it's worked out, and I've never had to since I started out, I haven't had to have a side job. I've just like super committed. So sorry, rambling.
No, it's awesome. It's inspiring to hear you chasing your dream, which is kind of what everybody should try and do at some point, right?
Yeah.
You shouldn't wake up every day and hate going to work.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. I think
that's short. Yeah.
We're raised in a society that we're pretty much like programmed to be like, oh, you have a shitty job that you hate, and life isn't about being happy or pursuing dreams, but just because everything is so expensive, and it's fun. It's hard. Sorry.
No, that's perfect. Now I understand.
And it's a shame that's kind of the society that we live in, that everything is about making money, having to make money to survive. Mm-hmm. And I was in survival mode for a long time too. But, I think when you're emotional and spiritual and like creative survival means more than trying to move up in your whatever monetary career life.
Right.
Yeah, that's just the path that my life took me on. So
that's awesome.
Well,
you're right where you're supposed to be.
But in my career, like I've never had a real job. Like I started in the early 90s painting, and I learned desktop publishing, and I had no skills. I didn't go to college, so it's like this traditional life that I was supposed to lead. I was like, it wasn't for me. And so, but when I found out that there was this whole like artistic world that I can make a living at, and that's why the one thing that I obsessed on that you said at the very beginning is you didn't want to be in the special effects industry, which might have killed your passion for what you're doing. It almost killed mine. Like I hated for a long time. I loved what I did, but I hated who I worked for. And it really almost took my passion away. And, stuff that we're doing now like this, and I could look back and I'm like, oh, that was just like a speed bump. It wasn't like a mountain that I was going over. So I admire that you stayed with it, but I definitely want to, stuff like this can be made when your passions are focused. All this stuff is outstanding and tells a great story.
Thank you.
It really does. The thing I love about these, a lot of your work, it's this miniature, it's this doll size thing, and so it's not only like displayable and kind of personal because it's small, but like the detail and the effort you put into all these. This like one photo takes it. It says so much about the movie and everything else, and it's like if you've watched Halloween, you know this scene. It's like. So brilliant. So did you at some point when did you think, okay, I want to work in miniature, I want to work in doll size? Was there versus like sometimes Paul and I will do pumpkins that are this 200 pounders, but other times we'll get little kaboches that are little guys. So when did you determine you wanted to do something small or kind of more manageable, like on a scale?
My first couple of sculptures were life-size busts. And those were actually in monster clay. Not in monster clay. I did those in Chavant, which I'm not a huge fan of, just like the hard clay, the waxy clay.
Yep.
But I don't know. I just didn't click with that scale. So, in 2017, when I started to fool around with like my own little things, I don't know. It's just what spoke to me, I guess. I'm a pretty little person and I have little hands, and I don't know. I guess it's just, I don't know, just the size that appealed to me.
Okay.
So yeah, like most things are like my art dolls usually fall around 12 to 13 inches. And let's see, this is a good size of like kind of how big all like my little heads are.
Hey.
Just, not super miniature. A lot of people, when they do miniature work, it's like it's probably half that size. But I think the scale that I work, and I don't work on like a recognizable 1/6 scale. I guess you could consider what I do 1/6 scale, but I don't ever use proper proportion. I kind of just like start making it, and what proportion it ends up is just what proportion it ends up. But because like I feel like my heads are larger than a 1/6 scale head, but the body is about the size, and it's just what appeals to me.
But that's also style. It's also stylized, which makes it appealing to other people. Because if you were to do replicas, everybody does replicas, right? And now you have, that's so cool.
Yeah, I love that.
People have 3D printers now, right? So somebody could actually replicate something from the movie and make it look photorealistic, but it's not stylized. So it's just like, it's generic.
Well, you know what my style,
when you can tell something is, what's that?
Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's fine.
I was saying, like, as far as stylized goes, I think what my style is just like mistakes.
No, that's my style.
I cornered that one. I cornered that one, guys.
It's like
sorry.
What can you guys say? Yes, you guys are brilliant. No, you guys are not making mistakes. You guys
it is, because it's like
happy accidents.
I'll do a sculpture and then I'll notice like this lip is more this on this side, but I won't fix it. It's like when I'm done with my sculpting session, I might notice that after my eyes adjust, like I have clean eyes, I have fresh eyes. I'm like, oh gosh, like this is a little higher, you know, the lips a little bigger on this side, but I don't fix it on purpose because it's like our faces aren't symmetrical,
Right.
you know, as humans. And it's just like, I like that it makes it look organic and real. And I think that's why my things have characters, because I don't fix the mistakes. I don't make it look like a machine made it. It's not perfectly symmetrical.
Right.
That's kind of what I'm saying. It should look stylized. There should be.
It looks sculpted. Yeah.
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 It should totally look that way.
So this is a new size. You know, I'm working on the smaller scale, but I've really been enjoying doing this size of busts.
Ooh, yeah.
We can kind of see them. They're kind of like what would you call it? A 1/4 scale
Okay.
bust, 1/2. I don't know. Anyway,
I'd call it quarter scale. Yeah.
quarter scale. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the faces are about twice as big. And, you know, honestly, I think this is the largest that I like to go. I don't really like to do larger than that as far as faces.
It's a lot of material too. Where you're doing one-offs and not casting stuff, like that would be, anything bigger would be done in like a wet clay, right? Because it's so much material, the material you're using is what's going out. You're not
right
sculpting it, casting it. That's a lot of material. It even looks heavy. Like,
well, no, it's not, because you know the main interior structure is aluminum foil and wire. So you know you're only doing a skin about 1/4 of an inch. Sometimes in some fatter sections it can be 1/2 an inch for me. But yeah, no, I mean all my sculptures, nothing is ever more than 2 pounds.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Saves on shipping.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Krampus. Very cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that guy. Yeah.
See, one of my favorite ones that you've done that I've seen is the American Werewolf in London stuff.
Which one? I did a couple. The diorama?
Well, he has the wolf head, but he still has his jacket on, which I thought was brilliant. I actually contemplated making my own. That's how much I liked it. Like I'm like, I gotta have one of those. That is so cool.
Yeah, American Werewolf in London is awesome. Yeah, Mickey, I wish you had a picture of the diorama that I did. That American Werewolf in London. It was.
Yeah, I definitely, yes.
And then he had a chew toy, which was one of the policeman's severed feet.
Yeah. It's so cool.
Like a bloody stump foot.
So that movie, I'm so proud that I'm a good father. My middle daughter, for her 18th birthday, we had a screening of that movie at a local theater.
Nice.
So I'm like, all of her friends who really didn't even know the movie at all were like introduced in a very harsh way to the entire American Werewolf in London at a theater. Because she loves it so much. Paul and I are Rick Baker nuts.
Yeah.
And we just and I know Mickey's a huge fan as well. So someday somehow we'll have Rick Baker talk to us. But until then, we'll be just huge fans of all of his work. But that movie was just a classic all around. And
the best part is he comes rushing out of the theater.
Yeah.
At the end. So
yeah.
Yeah, like Rick Baker would be the Grail guest, right?
Yeah.
The absolute Grail. Yeah, he's so amazing.
Yeah, if we have Rick Baker, I think the next guest after that would have to be like Obama.
Or Jesus.
Like an ex-president.
Like Jesus. I don't know.
Yeah, Jesus Cristo would have to be. We mispronounced his name on purpose. Yeah. But I mean, we've been so lucky just to have like the amazing guests that we've had on. Like sitting here with you is just, you can't get much cooler than that. I was saying, like, technology has made the world accessible to everybody. You know, you're in Arizona.
Yeah, it's amazing.
We had Yope on. He's in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
We had George on. He's in Greece.
Yeah.
Like, the world is just one click away at this point. So you can talk to all these crazy cool artists, and 98.9% of them are so easy to get in touch with. You just got to send them a message, say, hey, I like your stuff. Would you like to have a conversation? And they're like, yeah, I would.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So cool.
Yeah.
That's definitely a benefit of social media. You know, it's like with all its faults, it's for us creative people, I think it's a lifeline, and to be able to like make friends and like be inspired on a daily basis. And
I think that's a big part of it, right? Because like anytime that Paul and I carve when we're not like on the show now, again, we've done this now. This is our 75th episode. So check your glasses, everyone. 75 times we've done this, but when it comes to like actually carving off the show, which we do a lot as well, we have to find inspiration. So every single time, it's finding sculptures you make, or finding George's or Mark or
name a number of people, right?
Everybody, right? And so that's kind of where we go to is the friends we've made on this show, and it's the inspiration we get from people who are just like going to create something because it's in them, as opposed to like they want to do it because they want to make some money, or it's like I'm gonna do it anyway, so might as well film it. Might as well hang out with Paul and Mickey and have a couple beers with a really cool artist, while we're doing it, because we're gonna do it anyway. We might as well, So it's a blessing of the show, but it's huge inspiration for us. So I'm super thankful for all of that.
Yeah, when you see stuff like this, and also you also photograph your stuff very well.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it gives it such a different dimension to it, and so obviously you're very conscious about that. Do you do all your own photography?
I do. Yeah, like literally everything I do myself. Like everything to do with my art, my business, I do myself. Like, so
you want it done right.
It's been a lot of learning. It took a couple years to kind of figure out how to photograph my stuff to look good. And I'm just trying to approach it like it's a portrait session.
Mm-hmm.
We've had Ted Haynes on a couple of times. He's foam fabber. He's a good friend of ours and friend of the show. And one of the things that he's told me that just stuck in my head really well is that when you're a shop of one, so you're the be all end all of your own work, and you don't farm things out, and it's all you. The satisfaction you get from that is just so much more, real, because you're doing everything your own. Now, eventually, when you're doing things for like big studios and stuff, you farm parts of it out, obviously, but because of the production time, etc. But when it's only you and you're a shop of one, it's like such a great feeling, I'm sure.
It is a great feeling, and sometimes, to be transparent, and I know a lot of people that do all that could probably identify with this. It's a struggle a lot of times too, because, half of your working time is things outside of making art. So you're making art half the time, and then the other half is marketing, photography, social media, emailing, research.
The stuff no one sees.
Yeah.
What's that, Michael?
The stuff no one sees.
The stuff no one sees. So I think it's you see a polished picture on social media from people that put out all this amazing work. But it's a lot of hard work, and I think it's really great that a lot of more artists are coming out and talking about that side of it, because it's, it kind of sheds a light on like art is work, and like people work their asses off for what they're passionate about, and it is fulfilling. But, before I was an artist, I had this preconceived notion that people that did art for a living were living this easy life, and like, oh, aren't they so lucky? They just get to do what they want, and they're spoiled and all this stuff. And I'm like, I work more. I work 3 times as hard for 1/3 the money.
Yeah, you're your own boss, right?
Life. But the satisfaction that I get from what I do, and then when I get to deliver a piece to somebody that's gotten a commission from me or excited over my art, it fulfills me on a deep level. So
yeah.
It's all a balance. It all balances out. all the crying and the cussing.
Lots of cussing.
Lots of cussing. Yeah.
Lots of it.
That's Paul's really good at the cussing part.
Oh my God. My job choices were pumpkin carver or truck driver.
Oh my God. Yeah, so a lot of this stuff that you're showing, half of what I do is commission work.
Mm.
So
do people typically find you on Instagram and say, I want you to do a blank, and then you guys, direct message each other and figure everything out? Or is it, how does that work? Like trying to get you to do a sculpture for somebody?
Well, I have a very structured, first of all, I'm not taking any more commissions this year because I'm a little, I've reached kind of my limit, but I have a very professional and structured way that I do it. Like people have to go to my website and I have a commission fill out form because I don't do DMs. I don't do anything like that. I like to keep it very business.
Okay.
So, but in the beginning, it might've been that, I started doing commissions in 2018. And that came just from me doing local events in San Antonio.
Okay.
Doing MonsterCon and kind of getting in with the horror community in San Antonio, Texas. And then, with as far as like horror collectors go, it's a close knit community. So once you do a piece for a horror collector, they share it in their groups that they share things in, and then somebody else will contact you through email, and it's kind of it's this really great community of people that are like, hey, I saw you did something for so and so, like I would really love this, and so through email on my website. But yeah, I've honestly been doing the majority of commissions for the past 3 years. So this year I'm cutting my commissions in half, just because I want to work on some more personal projects. And I'm preparing for Monsterpalooza, so that's a huge deal. So
Monsterpalooza.
Monsterpalooza.
I think we should go to that too, huh, Paul, Mickey? What do you think?
Nah.
You should check it out. It's right down the street for me.
It's this little event, a couple people show up and
Go ahead, Matt. I know you've been wanting to, buddy.
No, I'm just
do it.
I just want people to check the vendor list for Monsterpalooza. If you get a minute, just check and see if Carl is on there. Check and see if we're on there, and then get your ass over there. That's all I can say. I'm done.
I mean, we're basically going to be doing what we're doing right now, right? So,
yeah,
we're going to be carving live and trying to talk to cool people, and
awesome.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
And we have so many good, like I'm going to go ahead and consider them friends. We've got so many people that are going to be there that we've interviewed and talked with and had fun with, that I'm like just so stoked to be there. And then Carla, you've like gone.
I was in the club
because you've been there now you're going to be a vendor, but you've been there as a fan. Now I'm like even more stoked to go there because I'm just so like excited to see the whole menagerie. And then what Paul pointed out a couple days ago to me was, looks like California's taking away a mask mandate, so we will be able to see each other, which is even better. So
it'll be a little easier to talk
about the whole thing.
A little bit.
Yeah, God, Monsterpalooza is amazing. I went for the first time in 2018 and was blown away. It was like a dream come true for the little kid inside of me to be able to just take in all that amazing monster art and sculpture and like have, I'm just flattered and humbled that they thought that I could just be a part of it, because it's like all my idols that are there. So it's like honestly a freaking dream come true to like, I'm like cry to be a part of it, to be a vendor.
Yeah. Yeah, I know it's a process to get to be one and everything else, but when it comes to like who we follow, who we admire, who we like literally, Paul, I don't know if it's the right word, steal ideas from, but
basically.
But like I'm so inspired. I mean, so that's the right word, inspired, not stealing.
Yeah,
inspired by so many great artists on there. Every single week, somebody's putting up amazing things, and I'm like, oh my God, that guy's so amazing, and I try to rip him off with a crazy pumpkin version of what he's doing or she's doing. And so to be there is just, it's a dream too for the three of us, for sure.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. We're like living the dream, guys.
That's right.
It's awesome. I mean,
I love
you gotta have a dream.
You
I
gotta
know,
have
it's so cool.
dreams.
This is
I
the
just wish I
first
didn't
time
have
I've
a
ever
black
seen it.
spot.
This is the first time I've ever seen a doll version of Beetlejuice, and it's perfect. I mean, I know his head's like, bigger than his. I mean, I get that, but it's like so like him. It's anyway. I love it.
Well, I try to do them justice. I mean, I'm sure all artists see their mistakes, but
I'm victim of that. Did you no? So from a painting perspective, because you're clearly good at that, did you just pick that up like when you were doing a lot of the like the effects class you were working on or where did you pick up your painting skills? Because you're very good at that.
Thank you. No, honestly, we didn't really have any painting classes, and a lot of trial and error. I think I had a good background in color theory. Because I was a color specialist when I did hair, I had a good understanding of color. I've always been very color minded. I'm like naturally very intuitive.
Okay.
And I've always been an art lover, so I feel like my eyes have been trained to know what looks good. So, it's just a lot of experimentation over the years. And, even to this day, sometimes paint jobs don't work out the first couple hours. I'm just like, what the hell am I doing? But I always figure it out. And the way I work, I do, the things that I did learn in school as far as like modeling, the actual technique of modeling with an airbrush and stuff like that I use that in how I paint. And, I did have an amazing class with Will Ritter, who's an amazing, he makes eyes. I'm not sure if you guys probably would know the name if like you saw some of his work next to his name. So I had an acrylic eye painting class with him. So I learned a lot of like little techniques and that they use in the special effects world, which not that I use that on this Beetlejuice, but little things here and there that I think I picked up in that special effects program that benefit me now. But for the most part, just trial and error, and that's why I tell people it's, I think most artists, from what I've heard and other artist interviews and podcasts, everybody is just figuring it out. They're just trying things out and they're just experimenting. And you don't see all the failures. You don't see all the things that people tried. All you see is this end product. And, I mean, on my faces, it's like 15 layers of color.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
And probably 10 layers, I knew what I was doing, and 5 layers, I was just,
trying it out,
wrong thing until it looked right. So, and I'm pretty open about that. I think that it's I don't have ego attached to what I do. It's just like we're all just trying to figure it out, and
you can't. You can't. I think you can't have an ego, like, right, Paul? I mean, like if you have a super big, Paul said this a million times. That once you think you've got it down, then you start realizing that you don't have it at all. I mean, it's like
you've stopped trying. When you think you're good, you're not good anymore. If you, but it's not me that came up with that. It's sort of again, like Kyle said, it's just about every artist has kind of that. They don't say it the same way, but it means the same thing. Like Fluharty, Mark Evans says it all the time. Like when I would say how much anxiety I get before I carve live, or like I don't get it as much as I used to because we're doing it every week, but I would say how worked up I would get. And he's like, if you're not getting worked up, or if you're not thinking you're going to fail, how are you going to get better?
Right.
You should approach everything like it's the end of the diving board. Like here it is. Like, is this the one that I'm going to screw up, or is this the one we're going to get better? And Fluharty was really the one that was just like, The moment you think something of yours is perfect, don't do it anymore, because now it's just you're not as good as you think. Or if you think you've arrived, you're so far away from arriving.
Yeah,
exactly.
You should always be hungry and chasing it, and let somebody else. Well, that brings me to my grandmother. Let someone else toot your horn.
Right. Yeah.
Never give yourself the compliment, or never think you're good enough. Let somebody else tell you are. Then that's the affirmation that kind of is like, all right, so maybe somebody likes my stuff, but that's crazy. But that one just drives me nuts.
Thank you.
Oh, I love this one. Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah, I think it's a healthy balance of what I try to approach things is having confidence enough to believe that I can do something, but then being critical enough to see the mistakes that I've made to improve next time.
Perfect.
And I think that's an important balance to have, because you have to believe in yourself. And most of the things that people ask me to do, I don't know how to do them. I'm just like, sure.
100%.
Yeah, I'll give it a shot.
And I believe that I'll figure it out, So I think,
at least you're smart enough to know when to cut off commissions, because that becomes the thing. You run out of time if you don't say no, because you're constantly like, I can do this, I can do this, I can do more. Then you're like, oh my God, it's a mathematical problem. I have more projects than days left. Like, so you got to have that balance, but you don't want to say no or say I can't do that, right?
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard not being able to say yes to everything, but I know that I want to like really put my all, give my all to each individual client and each individual project. And even if something takes me 30 hours to make, I want to allow myself like 2 or 3 weeks to give to it, so that I don't rush anything. And I'm not trying to pump things out. I'm trying to make things that are will be treasured. So, and I know my own limitations as far as like, I'm a pretty high strung person. I have a lot of anxiety naturally. So I don't like to feel pressure to get things done. So I never want to be working to get something done, and that's something that I struggled with, like disciplining myself for the first couple of years is like, don't focus on getting this done, focus on doing it and enjoying doing it. And that's a struggle all in itself sometimes. It's just being in the moment.
So this Bat Boy, I gotta admit, I just the minute I saw that, I loved it, because I remember years ago walking by like the Safeway, seeing Bat Boy Returns or Bat Boy on the Weekly World News, and then to see that like perfect just like mounted, it's like I gotta have it anyways.
Well, Matt, I still have Bat Boy. You know.
Oh, open door, Matt. Or as I like to say,
he is still available.
We can do another Bat Boy. Oh, you have one?
I have it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we need to talk because I want Bat Boy.
All right. Well, you might want to, message me soon because he's just
okay. Well, no one heard that besides me, so I'm going to get the fire Bat Boy.
We'll edit that in post.
Yeah, edit that out. Because I only want to see me.
Whatever. People have had their chance for like 6 months to have Bat Boy, and
I want Bat Boy.
He has sadly not been adopted yet, but.
Okay, well, so consider me your huckleberry on that one. That's
nice.
Yeah. When I saw that, I was like, "Holy crap!" I was so mad that you only did one-offs because I'm like, "Crap, that belongs to somebody else," but I can have it. So okay, all right, we'll talk. We'll talk.
No pressure.
We were just talking about pressure, though.
Yeah. Right. So,
how are y'all's boards coming along?
Oh,
gorgeous.
Let's go to Paul.
Gorgeous.
Let's go to Paul.
Look at those eyeballs. Oh, that's cool.
I'm blocking.
That's cool, Paul.
And I think Parasite, I'm just going to do a ton of sad eyeballs and the big sad mouth. And, there'll be something else going on to make it more parasitic. But I honestly got to wrap my head around what a parasite actually is.
You know what I'm thinking of? Like immediately with the parasite thing, like the worm from Doom.
Yes.
Yeah,
The
parasitic
crazy smell
worm.
of
Yeah,
teeth. It's kind of like a leechy, weird. I don't know what those creatures
like a
are
sea
called.
worm. A
Or-
sea worm reminds me of a parasite.
Yeah, like tubular with a bunch of teeth. That's what I was thinking for the gourd.
Oh yeah. All those like round, like biting into you like a leech. Yeah.
Well, he's gonna have teeth eventually. I just had to get that pout down so that I could. You ever just like kind of scrape in a part of something so you can get to the next? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got to be able to visualize a portion of what you're doing to jump to where you really want to get. So for me, sad starts with the mouth. Right? Like pout.
Right.
So I went for the pout, and then I know I wanted the bulk of the work is going to be like trying to put eyeballs all over it, but leaving room for other things, whether it's going to be boils or teeth sticking out everywhere, like through the sides. And I don't know. I haven't gotten there yet. That'll come to me in the next 48 hours.
Yeah.
Just Paul, just don't do what I did and wait 5 days, please.
No, I certainly won't make that mistake.
Something from the Sarlacc pit from Star Wars, Return of the Jedi.
Very sorry.
All right, Matt.
All right, so my guy, so it's a kabocha squash, so that's what it looked like to start. So he's kind of like he's sad. You can see this big, So I'm going to work on his mouth later, but in his eyes are very sad, and his nose is here. But I'm thinking of a leech of some sort, or some kind of like parasitic thing happening on this side. And I might cut something out of the back of him to add here, so it looks, like something sucking his brain out of the side of his head.
Nice.
Making him sad, and then he'll be sad too. But that's kind of anyway. This is the direction I'm going with this big squash.
So I like how you're taking it in the direction of the subject is sad because of the parasite.
Well, I think I'm going to put both of them kind of sad, because I think he's sad that he's getting sucked on by a parasite, and this parasite's like, oh, I got to do this, kind of like that's kind of where I was thinking. So it'll all happen.
I got to do this.
Unhealthy relationship.
Oh man, I got so many jokes right now. I won't. It's a family show.
It's a family show, Paul. Please.
As soon as you say we're done, I'm hitting you with the joke. It's so funny. Oh my god.
Oh, nuts. Okay. Well, Oh, what do we have here?
Oh.
So I wanted to kind of show, you guys were asking about my art dolls earlier. So I wanted to kind of show how I do the mixed media. So
cool.
This is polymer clay, head and hands, and then I do the fabric work. Sorry, I'm trying to get it in the camera.
I see chains.
No, it's awesome.
Yeah, this is Papa Legba, and he kind of turned into like a 90s club goth.
Oh my God, how awesome is that?
Just pulling from nostalgic memories. So
Sure.
So cool. Now, is that articulating too? Do those arms move up and down?
Yeah.
Look at that.
Oh.
Is that because of that clay?
No, so with the art dolls, the interior is a wire structure that I make, and then I do wrapping in like a cotton wrapping to bulk out their body, and then all the clothing, I custom sew the clothing. So he's got a little 3-piece suit.
Oh my God!
Little velour.
You have to make all of that like in little tiny sections, right?
How small is your sewing machine?
Normal size. Normal size. It's half machine, half hand sewing.
Okay. Wow. Hand sewing would get me every time.
Yeah, forget that.
Yeah, I'm just gonna carve squash. That looks way too hard.
Exactly.
I mean, it looks awesome.
So when someone orders that from you, go ahead, Mickey.
No, continue.
And when someone orders that from you, are they asking to have it be articulating, or are they having you kind of create what you create and just send that to them? I mean, I'm interested in like what the description is when you get a commission.
So normally when somebody gets in touch with me, they already have an idea of what they want. So either they want like an art doll with fabric clothing that can move, or they want a bust, or they want a static sculpture.
Okay.
And then, for the most part, other than that, they tell me what they want, whether it's a reference from a movie or like, for example, commission I'm working on right now is based on this person's tattoo, which is like it's like a super cute creature from the Black Lagoon in a pool floaty.
No. Oh.
This it's very baby proportions, big head, big eyes. So she basically wanted her tattoo vision as an art doll. So with this little guy, I'm going to make him where he has dangly legs and he's going to be able to sit down. And then the rest of his body is going to be a static sculpture with the exception of like his knee joints and his legs. But other than just like the basic idea of an art doll or a static sculpture or a bust and the subject matter, people then just say free reign, do your interpretation. And
that's the best.
It's amazing. Like I always heard horror stories from artists about doing commission work, but I've had nothing but great experiences and have had really cool people, really laid back people. And, it's, I don't know. It's pretty cool. I've enjoyed it. And
so cool. Now you're not taking any more commissions the rest of this year. What made you say that? Are you getting too many, or was it just like you stacked them up, or you want to do something else?
Well, it's a combination of both. Last year, it's like I normally have people waiting like around 8 months to get a commission from me.
Wow.
So I'm still working on, like currently I'm working on 2021 requests.
Wow.
And because I can only do a certain amount, like before I was doing like 2 or 3 a month, and I've cut it down. I've cut that down. I'm only taking on like 1 to 2 commissions a month. So after this month, the next 3 months, I'm dedicating to Monsterpalooza.
Right on.
And the rest of the fall, like summer through fall, I have commissions lined up. So it's a combination of this year because I've done almost nothing but commissions since 2018. This year in 2022, I just decided I want to do half the amount of commissions, and because I'm trying to learn to oil paint, I'm working on like this line of jewelry that's based off my sculptures. And I'm trying to dedicate some more time to like learning some more things personally in the creative field. So it's hard to say no, but I put it off because I wanted to learn more stuff last year for myself, and I didn't. I did all commissions. And it's not a bad problem to have. I'm super fortunate, and I appreciate everybody so much, and I appreciate people waiting to get work from me. That's what's crazy, is like the fact that people will wait until the next year to get something from me is just like, it means a lot to me, and I really appreciate my my collectors. So yeah, not I have a couple people that know that they're in line for commissions this year. And I'm doing like a benefit show for someone back in Texas in the fall. So I have to just make sure that I don't overextend myself.
Yeah. Do you have people that? Oh, sorry, Mickey. Go ahead. I forget what time it is. God, we have 1 minute left. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna ask you one more. 50 more questions for Carla. I tell you every time.
Go for it, Matt.
No, I just my question is, like, when people commission you to do something, and even they know it's going to be taking a while, do you find yourself kind of like get any kind of anxiety of like, now this person's been waiting for 3 months or 5 months or whatever it is, or do you just like plod along and you have it kind of in a calendar and you do it? I don't have this problem, so no one's asking me to do anything. So when it comes to like you getting these things out, with everything else you're doing and all the directions you're going, do you find yourself like giving yourself anxiety about wake up in the middle of the night? Oh, I haven't done this one yet. I haven't started this one yet. Any of that stuff?
No, and this is because I'm like super communicative with people. And I don't officially book things out more than 6 months at a time.
That helps. Okay.
So I make sure to tell, like when people email me and I'm like, oh yes, I'd love to do this, but I can't get you in until January. So if you want to put a deposit down for this certain month. And so I'm just like super communicative with people to make sure that they know where they're at and where I'm at. And then I just stick to it. And, I try not to let the freaking out feelings creep in. And I think I've done a pretty good job. And I think that's just because I'm just very forthcoming and honest with people. And like, I like to explain and maybe over-explain something.
That certainly helps you sleep better at night, I'm sure.
Yeah, because I don't want to feel pressure, and I want people to understand that I'm not a machine, and I'm not necessarily doing it to pump things out for money. Like I'm doing it for like the
love of art,
more genuine reasons than the love of art, and I have them in my mind for this time so I can dedicate that month to them.
Yeah.
Okay. So if they're cool with waiting 6 months or 9 months, then cool. And then if not, then, I'm not the person for them. And I just kind of leave it open to the universe to work it all out.
I love it.
Well, if you would like to get on Carla's long list of commissions, maybe you can get it. What are we looking at? 2025?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Well, it would be an honor to get something by you, but this is your Instagram. This is where you do most of your, posting and stuff like that. Is there anywhere else that we can go, or is this the place to go?
All my work is on my personal website. So if people are interested in seeing kind of the progression of my stuff, or there's some cool things that, I post anytime I'm doing a show or I have a new thing coming up, I'll post on my website, and that's just Carla Yates Creatures .com. Yeah, that's it. But mainly Instagram. I don't really mess with Facebook anymore. So
that's less and less for us too. Yeah.
If you want to be inspired and see some amazing work, you can check her out at her website at the same address for Instagram. Thank you for being here tonight. This is where you can find us. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch. Guys, did you have any last words before we wrap up for this week?
Where did the time go? That's what I want to know. Where did the time go?
Yeah.
Flies.
Told you. Fastest 90 minutes on the internet.
I don't understand it. We were just talking with Carla anyway. Okay.
I know, I'm sad. I want to hang out more.
And it's over.
We certainly can. I got to tell you my joke.
Oh, yeah. Good joke.
Well, can we have you back, Carla? Or we might even see you soon. Wink, wink.
Yeah, we're gonna hang out at Monster Palooza.
Yeah, that's gonna be awesome.
Well, I would just like to say, thank you guys for hosting this. Thank you. I'm so flattered that you thought to have me on. It means a lot. And, this is a great thing you all are doing. And I know for people like me, I know a lot of other people love to listen to stuff like this while they work. So this is another badass, cool podcast to be able to listen to while you're making art. And I appreciate you all, and keep kicking ass.
Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We will continue to kick ass as long as we are allowed to.
Exactly. We can't wait to meet you in person in June at the Monster Palooza. So this is going to be good.
Yeah, super excited.
Maybe we'll finish our carbs by then.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, maybe y'all can give me some carving secrets.
Yeah. We'll divulge everything.
Right.
There's only like three things.
I wanted to say too that there were some really sweet comments over here in the chat. So thank you everyone that showed up and hung out and had a nice word to say. I appreciate you all.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. Yeah. Lots of your fans showed up. So thank you, Carla.
Well, we will be here next Thursday with another Carvers and Creators, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. And we will see you next week. Thanks for joining us. Good night, everyone. Take care.
Not every.